This was on a regular weekday night. I was at home by myself, drinking a cup of coffee while staying up late in my room to get some work done. I had a tight deadline, and working late this night would make the rest of the week a lot easier on me. I was on my laptop at my desk, really focused and slightly tired, but my focus was broken when I heard a thump downstairs. I looked over at the doorway to my room where the sound echoed from, but remembered that it was raining outside and that the sound was probably just the house creaking in the rain and wind. I continued working, only to be interrupted again a moment later by another thump. I got up and walked to the bottom of the steps. All the lights were off, but I waited for the sound to come again so I could try and locate where it was, just to make sure it wasn't anything serious. I was still tired and had no reason to believe this was anything other than the house making sounds, and after a minute of waiting, I went back upstairs. Waiting around for something that was likely nothing was just a waste of my time, which I wanted to be spending on work so that I could get to bed. I went back to my laptop and worked for another hour and a half, not hearing any more sounds from downstairs, aside from a few small creaks every once in a while. It was close to 1 a.m., and I was just finishing up what I needed to get done for the night, when another thump echoed through the house. This one was much louder and sounded like it came from the bottom of the steps. I got up and rushed over to the stairs, a little more concerned now, but nothing was down there. I went down a few steps and looked over the railing, but the house was now just as quiet and empty as ever. The rain was still coming down, but this seemed to be far too loud and frequent than anything rain could be causing. After waiting again though, I got impatient and went back to my room. I had no idea what was going on, but I still couldn't see how it could be anything more than the house creaking. I sat back down at my desk, and it was almost right away that another thump rang through the house, this time sounding from right in the hall outside my room. I looked over at the half-open doorway, and not even a second later, a figure walked past it down the hall. My heart stopped for a moment as I felt a wave of shock run through me. I heard them walk into one of the spare bedrooms, and figuring they had to know I was home already, I ran up to my door and locked it shut. The footsteps stopped instantly, then began quickly going back into the hallway and right up to my door. I backed up and tried to find anything to use as a weapon. In this moment, I probably could have called 911, but I think I was too worried of something happening before they would have time to arrive. I picked up a pair of scissors from my desk as the man banged on the other side of the door. He then started to what I think was kicking it, because it sounded as if the door could snap out of the frame at any second. But then he stopped. I heard heavy breathing from against the door, then footsteps going down the stairs. I got my phone from my desk and called 911 as their steps started making their way through the downstairs hallways. A door closed, I think it was the back door, and then the house was silent. Police actually came really quick, getting to my house in just 2 or 3 minutes, and I almost had another scare when I heard footsteps sprinting out of the house. I think by closing the door, he was trying to trick me into thinking he left, which kind of worked, but I was still too scared to go downstairs without the police being there. Anyway, I ran out and got the police, but whoever that man was had already run off, and even with more cars patrolling the neighborhood, they never found him. There's so many questions to it that will haunt me for the rest of my life probably, especially since he's out there right now, and could be stalking me or waiting for another time to break in. His intent is not clear, but the investigators seem to think he had broken into the house in the morning, possibly while I was out of the house. It's likely he was waiting for me to go to sleep before doing whatever it was he planned, but if he had been hiding for several hours, I don't think it would have been just to steal a few things.